Hello, this is Claus Jensen presenting Game 12 of the 2010 World Chess Championship match between Anand and Topalov. This is the last classical game of the match, and the standing is even with 5.5 points each. A winner of this game is therefore World Chess Champion, while a draw means that we will have 4 rapid games with 20 minutes each, plus some extra seconds per move. I don't remember exactly how many seconds they will get right now. But let's get on with the game. Topalov has the white pieces, and play went d4, d5, c4, e6, knight f3, knight f6, knight c3, bishop e7, bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, castles e3, and Anand has chosen a mainline queen's gambit declined, which is a choice that indicates that he doesn't want to take too much risk in the last classical game of the match. Knight e4, bishop takes e7, queen takes e7, rook c1, c6, bishop e2, knight takes c3, rook takes c3, d takes c4, bishop takes c4, knight d7. This position has been reached many times, and the black setup is very solid, but of course white has some more space. Castles b6, bishop d3, c5, bishop e4, rook b8, queen c2, and after Anand's knight f6, Topalov starts thinking for the first time in the game. And the main concern is that he would like to keep his bishop on the board, or at least exchange it for Anand's bishop. So he probably considered bishop c6. Retaining the chance of exchanging bishops, or the bishop could possibly go to perhaps b5 in some lines. But he decided to play d takes c5, and then Anand took the bishop on e4, queen takes e4, b takes c5. And now Anand has a weak pawn on c5, but he also have a very strong bishop, which is could easily be dominating this diagonal, and possibly also this diagonal. It's a fairly open position, so this bishop is very good. And I think even if Anand loses this c5 pawn, his strong bishop could be adequate compensation. Queen c2, defending b3, b2, sorry, and of course also attacking the c5 pawn. Bishop b7, and taking the pawn for Topalov now. Rook takes c5. Then Anand could play bishop takes f3, g takes, and rook takes b2, and after queen takes, then queen takes c5. And this should be easily holdable for Anand. At least he probably is even a little better here. So Topalov played knight d2, rook f d8, and f3. Topalov wants to take the sting out of this monster bishop here. He wants to block this diagonal. And seeing this, Anand switches to another diagonal, and then came rook f2, rook d7, g3, rook b to d8, doubling the rooks, king g2, bishop d3, queen c1, bishop a6, rook a3, bishop b7, knight b3, rook c7, knight a5. And now finally Anand settles for the long diagonal and plays bishop a8, and from now on this bishop cannot go to other diagonals since it's in the corner. So knight c4, and now comes e5, which is a very nice move I think from Anand. He's planning e4, and Topalov is almost forced to play e4 himself, and that's what he does. But then comes f5, and with this move Anand of course attacks this diagonal once again. Oops, sorry, that was the wrong arrow here. He attacks this, doesn't work the way I'd like it to work. Forget about those arrows. With this move Anand attacks the long diagonal, and he has gained some initiative. And E takes f5 followed, and then came a very strong move from Anand. He plays e4. And now, all of a sudden, the position is a little uncomfortable for Topalov. And we can consider here a few options for him. I think he needs to move his king away from this dangerous diagonal. So king h3 is a possibility. And then after e takes f3, knight d2. It looks difficult for Topalov, but definitely not exactly losing at this point. But of course a difficult position. Another possibility is king g1, and then rook c to d7, for example, and knight e3 to prevent rook d1 check. And e takes f3 once again is also looking difficult for Topalov. So perhaps looking at these unpleasant options, he played f takes e4 instead. But this move is in fact a game-losing blunder, because now follows queen takes e4 check, and now it's clear that Topalov's king is very vulnerable. King h3 followed, and then came rook d4 with the simple threat of a queen to g4 checkmate. Knight e3 to prevent this queen g4, and then queen e8 intending queen h5 checkmate. g4 and then h5. Anand finds all the right moves now. King h4, g5 check, f takes g6. All other moves would lead to a quick checkmate. F takes g6, queen takes, queen f1, rook takes g4, and obviously knight takes g4 would lead to queen takes g4 checkmate, so king h3 instead, rook e7, threatening to take on e3, followed by rook h4 check, and then queen g4 checkmate. Rook f8 check, king g7 and knight f5 check. Topalov is allowed a few checks here. King h7, rook g3, rook takes g3, h takes g3, queen g4 check, king h2, rook e2 check, king g1. And look at the importance of this monster bishop. And now this bishop helps Anand to win Topalov's queen by playing rook g2 check, queen takes, bishop takes, and king takes. And queen against rook and knight is no problem for Anand. Queen e2 check, king h3, c4, a4, a5, rook f6, king g8, knight h6 check, king g7, rook b6, queen e4, king h2, king h7, rook d6, queen e5, knight f7. Queen takes b2, removing a vital pawn from Topalov, and king h3 and queen g7. And now the c pawn is ready to start going for conversion, and in this position Topalov resigned the game. So for the first time in the match, a game was won by black, and what a time to do it. Anand has retained his World Chess Championship title, winning 6.5 to 5.5 over 12 games. And I think this has been a very interesting match with a lot of very good chess and very good fighting spirit from both players. All games were hard fought, and the only sad thing is that this decisive game had to be decided by a big blunder by one of the players. But that's chess, I guess, and I think we should give all credit to both players for this great match, and of course congratulate Anand for retaining his title on Topalov's home soil in Bulgaria. Very well done by Anand. I hope you enjoyed my coverage of this match, and I hope to see you on my blog at clausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.